Alrighty guys, as you can bring us another Dragon Ball Legends TOP guide video, hopping in for season 28. So last season we did end off around the rank 2,200 and something, right? Which was to be expected, honestly, because we did go along the more easier route. Unfortunately, this season we might not be able to take as much of an easy route, and just due to some just complications in terms of the tier system, right? Some of our units did get demoted for regeneration, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Before we move on though, there will always be timestamps in the description down below. That way you guys can go ahead and get where you guys need to go. Let's go ahead and talk about our first topic here is our pathing. Alright, so this is the path we will be taking for the first half and for the second half. Remember, these two paths will be split into two videos. One will be released at once I hit 13 TP, and one will be released once I get 12 TP just built up, right? And so this is going to be a loosely based path. I think the most important ones, like I always say, are the circled ones, right? I think the circled stages are the mandatory stages, but in terms of the pathing you guys need to go ahead and get there, it is definitely, basically, it can be, this is loosely based, right? Because there's even times where I will go ahead and stray off just the standard path to go and opt for an easier fight if I do think that my units cannot take the fight, or if I think I'm going to go ahead and take a heavy hit in those specific fights. But the circled ones are definitely where you do want to go. Those are, I think these are all these circled fights are pretty good, pretty easy, I would go ahead and say. And then the only stages that you completely want to avoid are the yellow tiles and the green tiles. I mean, I know some of you guys do have to use the green tiles if you absolutely need them. For me personally, I don't even think the debate has settled. I personally just prefer to die and just get, because if you die, all your units come back at full health. Whereas if you step on the green tile, I don't think I'm not sure. Do they heal you up full? Do they heal you up all the way to 100% HP? I'm not too sure. Let me know in the comments down below. But either way, this is going to be the path that we're going to be taking. And let's go ahead and talk about the map awareness. All right, so throughout this entire season, the reason why it's going to be a little bit more tricky is, especially on the path that we're going to be taking, there's Sun Family stages everywhere. And like I said before, high ki restore speed will continue to be the answer for this fight. And the best way to portray the ki restore speed right here is that I have this fused with Kami Piccolo, the Zenkai Piccolo, right? I got him up to friendship rank 10 because I do want him to be a mainstay on my team right here. His friendship rank is at 2,664. That is absolutely beautiful. And this is because of the friendship rank though, right? Because when I switch it back to regular stats, this is his ki restore speed without the friendship rank. That's 2,538. That's a significant difference because this is the difference that makes him attack before the Super Saiyan transforming Goten or not. Right, so you do want to go ahead and build up your units in terms of friendship rank, especially if you have one specific team that you consistently use. You want to make sure all of those core units are at friendship rank 10. But speaking of the Sun Family fights right here, the reason why I hammer in the ki restore speed point is because in order to attack before Goten after he's transformed on that turn 2, your ki restore speed has to be higher than 2,632. That is the magic number right there. If you can go ahead and get above that, you will be able to attack before him. And then right up here, like straight above the starting stage, there's this 5-fist stage that I'm going to completely avoid. And I would say you guys might want to completely avoid it as well. Even though it is a 5-fist stage, it might yield a lot of points. I think you're going to take a massive hit in terms of like just damage taken in this fight specifically, right? I always say to just avoid the stage, especially since it's a 5-fist stage. We have Super Saiyan Gohan, who will take all of the focus on turn 1, and then you have 4 units that can super attack you. It's kind of just like a no-brainer that you don't want to engage in this one. Another team that I do see quite often, or well, not quite often, but there's the odd stage or two that does have androids. So there are a couple stages with the duo droids right here, or this might be the only one. I'm not too sure. I would have to go ahead and look deeper, but this isn't the only androids fight. I would say the highest priority units right here will be Super 13. Right, you want to get him before turn 3 because on turn 3 he will get that guaranteed super attack. First form Cell will also heal on turn 3, so you might want to kind of like play around that and make sure you don't target him around that area or just kill him before turn 3 outright. That way he doesn't heal the damage you deal to him. And then I recommend saving the Zenkai, or well, he's not Zenkai right here on the enemy's team, but I would recommend saving a 16 for last, since he does give death buffs, and make sure to be careful of his self-destruct once he gets to a certain HP threshold. MVP 17 has a strike cover change, and Super 17 can eat a blast based attack, so you know, just I guess be just mindful of it. right? It's annoying. I think what I would do here is, since I'm running boot tanks, I think I'm honestly just gonna snipe the duo droids on turn 1 before they can start reversing their element factor and all those shenanigans, and then I would immediately start working on the high priority targets such as Super 13. And then for the last team that's not really too much of a threat, but it can be annoying, you just have to be aware, is this girls team. All you have to do here pretty much is just target Green 21 first, since she can stun on turn 2, and then immediately after killing her, you want to target Green Maya as your second unit, since she can also stun, but it would be at the end of turn 2. And then after that, I like to take down support 21, this blue one right here, and then the rest of the fight just becomes very, very straightforward. If there's any other troublesome fights on here that I did not mention, let me know in the comments down below. That way you guys can go ahead and help someone else out. Alright, now let's go ahead and talk about new characters, quote unquote. Technically, we did not get a new character, but we did get a new Zenkai in the form of Super Saiyan Blue Zenkai from the first anniversary. So let's go ahead and go over his kit and see whether he's worth it or not. Alright, so I do have him displayed at maximum stats. The first thing that I always like to look at with these units is their key restore speed. Keep in mind this is only at friendship rank 2, so you can give them another 100 give or take, right? So 2,393 could probably bump up to 2,493, almost 2,500, right? I don't think that's necessarily bad, but it's not enough to say attack before transforming Goten, right? I think it's all right. I don't think it's bad though. I don't think it's bad at all. And let's go ahead. He does have an ultimate art, which is actually kind of helpful, especially if you do place him on a yellow tile when he has 100% to his gauge. Let's go ahead and look at his kits. That's very bare bones. 60% to strike damage for 1 turn, and plus 70 key recovery. So he actually has decent key recovery. I still, even with all that though, I do not think it would be enough to attack, say, before that Super Saiyan Goten. Although it wouldn't matter because he has type disadvantage regardless. And he has this ability right here. So before receiving a Blast Arts attack, he activates special action and nullifies an attack. That's pretty good. So he has damage mitigation. After activating the special action, he does get plus 10% to own damage inflicted, minus 10% to own damage received, and inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade plus 30% to strike damage, and with minus 100% to health restoration, both for 2 turns. That's honestly, those debuffs are pretty solid. My only critique about this is that he has to get hit with the blast card to activate those. So if you don't get hit with the blast card, this whole second unique is non-existent, and that's kind of bad. I don't think he's that good, especially considering that God Key is still in a place where they need more help in terms of ToP. I would say that this guy is a flop. I've seen some people already running him on Saiyans in the leaderboard, but I don't think he's going to be like a mainstay. I know he's Z tier this season and stuff like that. I think he'll continue to remain Z tier just because I don't see a lot of people using him. Alright, so now let's talk about the best team. So as always, I'm going to start off with the team that I will be using for this season, which is Regeneration, right? Because that's pretty much the team everyone can use, and everyone can kind of like, especially you guys as the audience, as the viewers, you guys can kind of play this team along with me fairly easily because these guys have just been around for so damn long. There's not really any like new units on here, right? So basically, I think the biggest hit for this season is if we take a peek at S tier, 2 of our units got demoted, right? Legends Limited Piccolo and Legends Road Piccolo both demoted to S tier, which is kind of a steep hit. And you might see that, like, visibly see the difference in points this season. That's why we're going to kind of be taking on a more difficult path to kind of mitigate that a little bit, right? But we're still going to go ahead and see it through with this team. And I will be using Bootanks and Zenkai Piccolo once again together. I've been doing dailies on Piccolo Zenkai banner actually, and he is now Zenkai level 3. I'm hoping that they just put him in the USTR shop. That way I can just go ahead and finish him off quicker on that. But I don't mind doing the dailies because it's only 20 CC and I get 100 Zenkai power for him, right? I don't think that's too bad of a trade-off, but you guys might not want to do that. I mean, 20 CC is still 20 CC, and I do understand that completely. Once again, just make sure they are all friendship rank 10. And on the right-hand side, you do see a different kind of regeneration setup right here, right? I think this is actually very interesting, and this guy's having a lot of success. He's at rank 35 currently in the world, and he has regeneration with the exception of he has Kaioken Goku on here. Right, so he's running 3 blues, he's doubling down on the blues, he's running Kaioken Goku, and he's running the Healer 18 as well. And that Revival Gohan is actually very, very good for the team. If you guys have Revival Gohan at a good amount of stars, he is actually a very good replacement for the Zenkai Piccolo, right? Especially if you have, but the only thing that I really like to sell for is that my first form sell, because look at the key restore speed. right? Key restore speed 2,401. Once again, you can probably give him another 100 due to this guy not being at friendship rank 10. And then if we go ahead and look at Cell's key restore speed at friendship rank 10, 2,684. Right, so there is a difference there. Cell does have the better key restore speed, and I kind of do value that a little bit more than the rest of what Gohan has to offer. And if Gohan does, if for whatever reason, if your Gohan does get his revival popped, he loses the regeneration tag, and so I'm a little scared of bringing him in. I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. Alright, so the next team we have, I think it's no surprise to anyone, is Sun Family. They are, once again, a complete Z-tier team, right? Because you look at S-tier, I mean, you do have a lot of units in here, a lot of these other Goku/Gohans and stuff like that. But the biggest well, I guess Gohan, this Gohan right here, this movie's Gohan, right? He was in S tier last season, and now he got promoted back into Z tier this season. So I definitely do expect everyone and their moms to be running this team once again. I think they were even last season. I think even with that Gohan in S tier, people were like, screw it, I'm still going to go ahead and use this team. It's still going to be a guaranteed 1000 CC, right? I think it is actually pretty cool to see Great Saiyaman 1 and 2 being utilized here, though, because that's what I said in the last video, right? I definitely, since they do have the Sun Family tag, look at their key restore speed. 2,680, and even when you go ahead and you look at their kit, they get extra key recovery from the kit themselves. And you know, it is, they do have support. There's just so much support right here. The only thing I would change from my team and from the guy on the right hand side, who is ranked number 3 by the way, is instead of that Kaioken Goku, I probably would just use the Revival Gohan, partly because I don't have that Kaioken Goku, and also this guy is pretty good when you look at his kit and everything around it. And he also, the thing that I would prefer him on this team than something like Regeneration, right? Because before Revival, he's Sun Family. After Revival, he's still Gohan. He's still Sun Family here, right? Plus, he just has the Revival mechanic, so you don't really have to worry too much about him dying. And I believe he does heal himself as well. So there's just a lot of good stuff going with this team. It's absolutely crazy. And it's still crazy to me too that there's so, like, this guy's ranked number 3, right? And look, his Gohan is only Zenkai 2, just like mine, right? So this, the Zenkai level 2 has just proved to me that it's still like viable. As long as the kit is good, you do have some of those Zenkai stats. Like, this guy is just going to be soaking up all the damage. And then you have the Bird Coup right there to heal him. The only thing that I would say about this team, so the trifecta is definitely Goten, Kaioken Goku, and the Super Saiyan Gohan. But you do want a very, like, a solid healer that you can rely on, because this Goku, for me, he's only at 3 stars. He's going to get smashed, right? He's going to get absolutely stomped on. So you guys probably would want someone a little bit more reliable. That's why some people still use that Red 18. So it really, really depends. Alright, next we have GT. So what you're seeing right here on the right hand side is a full Z tier team. For me personally, I do like to dip into S tier just to pick up that Omega Shenron, man. Omega Shenron E is he's so good, bro. I promise you guys, if he wasn't S tier at all times and he was actually in Z tier here and there, like, he would be the main staple on Regeneration as well. And he's even better on GT, so that's always nice, right? I think this team is just, it has amazing support plus damage mitigation, right? Nova Shenron can mitigate damage, Ice Shenron can mitigate damage, Super 17 can mitigate damage. Like, it's absolutely insane. This is one of the few teams that can work without a healer, which is always nice. And even if you feel like you do need a healer, you can always just dive into S tier and pick up your healer right here. Right, you can pick up Super Baby 2, who's probably one of the best healers to ever grace the game, right? So it's like, it's absolutely crazy how good GT is right here, right? Personally, I don't think you need Super Baby 2, truly. If you guys have the stars on these other guys right here, I really don't think you need it. I think one of the biggest differences, though, is that this guy has the GT Kid Goku on his team as one of his greens, and I have the Super... This baby Vegeta right here, right? This baby Vegeta is so damn underrated. Friendship rank 2. Look at it. Friendship rank 2, by the way. 2,697 key restore speed. That's the only reason why I never bothered to friendship rank him up, because no one's beating this. No one. There's like maybe like a couple units in the game that is beating this key restore speed, but for the most part, he's absolutely, his support is good. He heals himself. Like, it's, look at this kit, bro. Like, look at how much he has in his kit. Like, he's very, very underrated, I would say. I think I'm pretty sure a majority of you guys that use GT already know how good he is, though. All right, so next we have androids and LOE, and I'm going to go ahead and put them on the same kind of scale right here, right? Because for me personally, I think LOE is slightly better than androids, but slightly worse than GT, right? LF Purple Frieza and Zenkai Full Power Frieza are S tier, but you can definitely work around it as seen right here, especially because the backbone of this team is definitely that Revival Frieza, who just has an insane kit. He's a healer. He basically he does almost everything right here, right? He does almost everything, but you can see that some of these units are a little bit less than optimal, right? That green EX Frieza doesn't really do much for the team. Even that Zenkai Yellow Frieza, I don't think he's that good. And the red transforming Frieza is definitely not that great either. And then over here on Android's side, you kind of still have the same thing. Androids is still looking nice, but Red 13, the Zenkai one, the most recent Zenkai, and MVP 17 have both been demoted to S tier this season. And as per usual, all the 21s are trapped in S tier hell. But that being said, the team still does perform well. We got the boy Bob Saget right here rocking the free-to-play 21 regardless. But you can see right here, he has a couple S tier units, right? Like he has both of the 21s that are S tier. And, you know, he is rocking the green Gamma 1, who I don't think is that great in TOP, and I probably would replace the tracksuit 18 with Gamma 2 if you guys do have him at high stars, because he's another healer option for your Android squad. Alright, so the final team that I will be talking about for today's video is Rival Universe, a team I would never expect to see here, but it is a full Z tier Rival Universe team with Healer 18, right? You can't forget about Healer 18. This is a very Zenkai heavy team, and I do believe you need a lot of stars for this to work, but once this team gets a dedicated healer, I think this could be the next meta TOP team. Right. For now, I would definitely replace the EX. I mean, unless you want to run double blues, I would replace the EX Jiren with Topo, right? Because you can just go ahead and slide him on one of these healer slots right here, so that Red 18 can go ahead and heal him. You guys can see that he's Red 18 in this position would be highlighted to go ahead and heal Kaba and heal the or the Topo, right? Because when you look at Topo's kit, what he does is he applies the buff effect to himself where enemies focus on this character for one turn, so similar to the Super Saiyan Gohan, right? And so he also does get some damage cut right here, and as long as you're just constantly keeping him healed, I think he's gonna do fine right here. And then you can also, what I really like about this team a lot is not only does it just kind of mesh together pretty well, you can also protect said Red 18 after that first turn with Zenkai Kale, who has a strike cover change regardless of health, right? She's like one of the few, I think her and Green 16 are like the only units in the game that have a cover change that is not restricted by health. Right, it has no health like condition or anything like that. It just says before receiving a strike arts attack, allies in range performs that cover change. Right, that is very good. It's basically the Zenkai 16 / Red 18 combo that you do see on androids everywhere. And then a red unit that I do like on here a lot, right, is this Dispo, bro. Because I promise you guys, if this Dispo could heal himself, he would be so good. He would be so, look, first of all, look at his key restore speed, 2,666, a friendship rank 2, or is that friendship rank? Yep, friendship rank 2. He gets 80 key recovery at the start of turn, and then even here, at the end of the second turn, he gets another 40 to key recovery. This man is too fast. His name is Dispo. But overall, I think this is gearing up to be a really, really good team. His kit's kind of sucks. Right, because look, his first passive is plus 100% to next special move damage inflicted, but in reality, it should be also what really needed to be included here is 100% to his special move gauge, because he doesn't have any buff for it. He kind of sucks a little bit, right? But you do, if you guys do have him at high stars, he will also be getting Zenkai buff by this Caulifla, right? So that's probably what makes him a lot better, because he's going to be getting so much stats from her. Alright, so that being said, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for the Season 28 guide. Hopefully, it does help some of you guys out. Let me know in the comments down below what teams you're missing or what teams you feel like should have been on the list, right? So that's something that I'm always curious, because I do have like a great interest in seeing what kind of like off-meta teams that you see. Like, that's why I wanted to show off the Rival Universe team right here, because I saw it on the leaderboard and I was like, I wish I could run that team confidently. Right, because I don't know exactly how it works. Regeneration is definitely going to be within my comfort zone. I know it's going to be within your guys' comfort zone, and I don't want to use that team and force some of you guys to use that team, because I know some of you guys do follow like the walkthroughs like thoroughly, right? But that being said, if you guys do enjoy the content, make sure you guys do leave a like, a comment, and maybe even consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. Later.